This is the Ask a Photographer podcast, answering your photography-related questions about general photography, workflow, editing, business, and marketing. To submit a question, go to biblino.com/ask. Hello, and thank you for listening to this week's episode. My name is Mike, and I'm from biblino.com. This week's question comes from George, and George is asking, should I watermark my photos? I want to protect my photos online. I currently have two logos. One is a picture and the other one is a text. I've noticed a lot of photos on Instagram that don't have watermarks. Is this a new trend? What should I do? Should I watermark or should I not? Hey George, thanks for your question, buddy. Well, this is, watermarking is a personal preference, I personally find. It's one of those things where a lot of people think it's a bit old school, and when digital photography became popular, you would put your watermark to kind of show, this is your work, and then of course people put it there so to deter people from stealing their work. And what I've found, people are going to take your work regardless if you put a watermark or not. I've had clients where they've gone to the extent and cropped out a quarter of the photo, and this is from a portrait session, so they're missing a good part of their torso, to put it on their Facebook or Instagram, and it just annoys the hell out of me at the great lengths that people go to. It's amazing. So sorry, George, but you can't stop people from stealing your stuff online. If you have a website, you can disable right click, but then if you post photos on Facebook, one of the menus, I believe, even allows you to, it even asks you the question, do you want to download the photo? So, having a lot of people that on Instagram that don't have the photo, I think a lot of it's got to do with aesthetics. Because as I mentioned, when you've got a watermark and you're trying to prevent people from stealing your photo, maybe a client or somebody that just wants to do silly things and profit from it, you've got to put it in such a ridiculous spot, like in the middle of the photo, to deter people. But then it just makes your photos look crap. And I think using watermark as a branding tool as opposed to a deterrent from people downloading your photos is probably a better option. Having your logo, it could be in the corner, or could actually even have a white background around your photo, and then having the logo on that border. That's a technique that I've started to use lately. I find that I start my branding there, and everything I put online has that. It's not going to stop people from stealing your stuff, but if clients see it enough, or friends of clients see it enough, they will ask about you, and hopefully your past clients would pass on your details. Now, the idea of protecting your photos online, there's a few things you can do. You can have plugins that disable right click on your website, on your WordPress website, or some of the better known photo websites out there have that ability built in, which is good. But people can of course take a screenshot of your photos and take them that way. One way that I have been doing for years of keeping, my photos not completely protected, because that's impossible, but at least getting my information with them. And that's actually using metadata within my photos, the IPTC details, both Lightroom, Photo Mechanic, Photoshop, any good editing software will allow you to add that. Lightroom allows you to add presets, which is excellent. So of course does Photo Mechanic, and I'm not 100% sure about Photoshop, as I don't use that for that purpose. But the thing is that your photo is going to be online and anybody can take them. If you add the metadata along with a photo that has maybe a watermark that's not so obtrusive, meaning not right in the middle, that says proof, somewhere in the corners, or even as a border with a small logo there. Adding metadata such as your details, like your name, your website, a postal address. Never add your physical address. A post office box is preferred. Adding things like copyright information. There's contact information you can place in your metadata, in your IPTC details. And it doesn't add size to the photo, if any. It's really, really small. You'll find a lot of photojournalists use this technique when they edit their photos, they add the IPTC details to the photo, and they upload that, for the editors. And what happens is that the editors, if they know their job, they will look at the metadata and credit the photographer. Also, when you add metadata or the IPTC details and you upload to galleries such as SmugMug, Photo Shelter, and all these other types of online galleries, you have the ability to add keywords, and the keywords will allow you to be able to search your work, if that's how the website's set up. Also, WordPress, if you have this information in WordPress, it adds the caption, which is good for SEO, and of course gives a little bit of information about the photo. That's what I generally do, and it's you're not going to stop anybody completely ripping your stuff off, but putting it in a place where it is unobtrusive and used for branding purpose as opposed to security, it's probably your better bet. Now, there are some photographers that I do follow, and I've noticed that you said that you've got two logos, one that's a small picture and another that's got text. There's a photographer that I follow, and they have a small little logo, and they place very close to the subject. So if it's a bride, they place it quite close to the subject, and I'm guessing they do that for two reasons. One, if someone's going to rip it off, they're going to have to go to great length to crop it out, or use the clone tool. But also for prospective brides, when they look at it, it's right next to the main subject of the picture. Even though it is right in the middle of the picture, it's not completely obtrusive, and it's got their logo. It's a very small logo. I believe it's just a circle with a B, and that's on all their advertising equipment materials. So it's one of those things where if you get your clients to see your logo enough, you can use it as a branding tool. Also, I should note that I do have a free set of templates, which I will put in the show notes, and these templates are presets for Lightroom, and they allow you to export your photos to Facebook and Instagram using the print module, which is very cool. A lot of people don't utilize the print module in this way. They assume that it's designed for printing solely, which is wrong, because it's actually quite powerful. You can do collages, you can do watermarks, and you can do mini collages with watermarks, which is quite cool, and I do that for clients. But the templates that I'm offering for free, they're completely free, they are for Facebook and Instagram, and what you can do is just add your logo to the little border that's there, and that that's a quick way of continuing your workflow from Lightroom, if that's the editing software that you do use. So as you export, you can export high resolution photos, and then you can do a set for your social media and photos that way. There you go, George. I hope that information helps you, and thanks for your question. If you have a question that you'd like featured on the show, go to biblino.com/ask to submit your question. I'd love to hear what you think of the show by going to iTunes or Stitcher and giving me a review and a rating. And don't forget to subscribe so you get notifications of new episodes. Thanks for listening. Until next time, get out and take more photos. Oh look, it's a cat in front of a sunset.